Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show, but right now let's just get into the show. Advanced Nectar. Advanced Nectar for the Gods growing topics. It's a popular video. We do those from time to time, but I honestly try to avoid them with the really high-end advanced topics because in my experience, there's a lot more to be gained from mining and perfecting the basics than there is for trying to search for some grand strategy. But it's an interesting topic, and we had a couple questions, and even if these aren't valuable to you as a nectar practice, it's interesting to hear Scott talk about them and to think about them. And, well, anyway, there's a couple really good, really high-end questions that were asked that Scott answered, and those are in the clip I'm going to show you. I'd like you to watch it. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'll talk to you after. In the Nectar Bible on page 66 under Final Ripening, prior to harvest, option 3, Carl says, can you try putting in full-strength bloom chaos in plain water for a watering or two in the end? Also, it sure makes the buds... So that's the question. This one's going to split off there. Also, it makes the buds rock hard. I tried it on a couple of plants that had soft buds. Stay tuned, but I am curious of your thoughts, pros and cons.
So, in theory of how the chaos and its mode of action in the plant, how it all works, so Carl is pig.
Okay.
In this, and so pig was for a while during the final flush, he'd hammer him really hard with chaos, all on its own, just by its one watering to trigger that last response.
Oh.
To bring everything up now. The only reason why I don't promote this is because it will, if your plant's, you're at the end, so at this point you should be patting yourself on the back. Game's over. You have 2 days till harvest, so there's really nothing you can do that's really going to be that damning. Yeah. But if you...
This is a bold move, though.
This is bold because you are going to come in the next day in those neat fall colors and the healthy plant that's just started defoliating. It's going to go like this because it literally is going to be like, oh, you want us to be done?
I'm done.
And then I'll just finish up by parking the last of everything. Yeah. It doesn't make for a high times photo finish end of the plant, but the fruit and the genetic, again, this one really, to me, he had genetics that could definitely do what he is stating they did. And I've seen it. I've been there. I know it can happen. Most of our viewers don't have those genetics. I would be I would take one plant. I would try this method where you just, at the last 7 days for your final flush, hit them once or twice hard with just chaos, and then do the final flush with the Herc and the Afro.
Yeah.
See what happens, but I can guarantee you the plant's going to get really gnarly looking, the foliage, but the fruit should be fine because it's done. You can't really undo the fruit.
Yeah.
But it does help solidify and make that last push a density push versus, just finishing them out for flavor and last bit of trichome production and the terpene enhancements.
So this is like jumping your motorcycle over a canyon and when you land doing a special dismount.
Well, it's landing with a ramp at the same trajectory versus the stepping off the elevator before it hits the ground like a coyote. It's just you don't want to do that.
Ride that collapse down on that group of people. Oh my god!
Oh jeez.
Okay,
you're buckled in and you come up out of the seat. It's never a good sign.
I'll tighten it off
with a roller coaster harness on. You still came out of the seat. No good.
So. Okay. Good answer.
Yeah.
This question. You have a few episodes where you gloss over this subject. Maybe I just not quick enough or didn't pay attention in chemistry or missed an episode, but you reference mixing Olympus up with Hades down to create calcium carbonate or to create rock phosphate. Love to know more about this and if it will help with pH. Pretty sure I just didn't get it. I've never heard this before.
Well, the whole thing is...
Have I never heard this
I think
before?
that goes back to the alkalinity talk, maybe, when we
I'm
were
sure there was a piece of it there.
We were reacting with... You were pushing the water up to then down it to...
Well, that was to get the conversion of carbonates to bicarbonates, but I think way back we discussed... Because all this alkalinity was never in the Bible, or I don't think we even did that.
So this is a precursor to using the soda water to...
This is way before that.
Okay.
And what this was because of the acidity of certain products, or let's say you were to take Hades, which is just pure phosphoric acid and citric acid, but phosphoric acid being the reactor, and Olympus limestone, and what making rock phosphate the statement there is basically there's rock phosphorus, like phosphorus rock, in the soil that is totally insoluble, totally unavailable to anything because it's
rock.
It's a phosphorus rock. So ag will use that phosphorus rock and react it with different acids to create different elements, and literally phosphoric acid and limestone will make a rock phosphate. So one of the ways they do rock phosphate is taking rock, phosphorus rock, adding a calcium base, and then flashing it with phosphoric acid. The reaction is solubilizing the rock phosphate into a usable rock, and that's one of the things. So there's like ammonium nitrate phosphates are the same way, where they use an ammonia nitrogen to flash the phosphate rock to make it a ammonium phosphate, or it's just a reaction that's occurring from a base and an acid.
This is some Heisenberg shit.
This
is chemistry set.
It's Googleable.
Yeah, but this is chemistry set shit. This is not.
Yeah, this is It's putting bases and acids together to create elements, and the element we're creating is rock phosphate. So when you go over, and the main thing really is that it's creating an energy. So what I think we can stem this all the way back to. You have a 4.1 pH solution of food because you're using Roman mid-flowering.
Sure.
Then you take a 13 base Olympus liquid limestone and you flash it on there. The worst, it's pure energy because it's literally creating gamma radiation from the reaction of that acid and the base, and it's creating these microflakes of rock phosphate in a sense where this phosphorus is being reacted to this calcium rock, and then that becomes a nutrition for the plant. That's where I think this is all stemming from, is if it's so low and you hit it so high, you're literally creating a rock phosphate, just like phosphoric acid does with phosphorus rock and limestone will create rock phosphate.
All right.
Chemistry.
These are the questions people said they wanted. I want some advanced.
That's why I'm only doing 2 or 3 at a time.
This is some advanced shit. Okay. Well, that was fun.
And he's very he dives deep in a lot of things, and he brings up great questions, and some of them are irrelevant, and some of them are freaking amazing because you're like, well, if somebody can understand this part of it, why why don't you let it sit out for 4 days before you use your nutrition? Well, because that exact reaction that we really want, because that reaction is energy. That sun is putting out energy. Those are gamma radiation. Energy. What's the plant consume? Energy. So if we are mixing up our stuff, flashing it with a base, all the acids going react. It's pure energy. That's why when you mix pH, feed, and then you're like, I can watch my plants rise up and vibrate and It's because they're absorbing that energy, not only the nutrition, the elements, and the pieces, but the energy from the reaction is also being absorbed.
It's 1,000 suns.
That's a common question we get is a lot of people want to know how long they can use that mixture, and we constantly advocate mix it.
Fresher the better.
Use the fresher the better.
Or you're just creating literally meals. I mean, we took all those meals and we spent 10 weeks breaking them down into soluble forms to not go back into a gallon to be created back into a compound so large the plant can't consume it, because chemistry, once you start adding these products, chemistry starts
going to do its thing.
And the more, as long as they're all in the same pH range while you're doing the chemistry, they'll stay stasis. But once you react it, game over. Energy's going to happen. You need to get it into the soil so the plant can use all of that.
Yeah. So questions like this are like sometimes, well, fuck no, but, and you think of something that's interesting.
Oh, no, I got about 20 more from him. So
okay.
Feed him in every week.
Sweet. Okay, what do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful? Did it bring up anything in your mind? Throw in the topics and let's talk about it. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.